How's it going, everyone? Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Paddle Press. This is my first ever video for this account. If you're coming from other socials or my newsletter, please feel free to subscribe, follow me wherever you find me. I have a bunch of different accounts: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, as you can see here, etc. So be sure to drop a follow and let me know if you love the content. Today, I'm going to be giving you sort of an introduction to this channel and breaking down my play style, what paddles I like to use when I play pickleball, and different things like that. I'm also going to be talking about how much you should be spending per paddle based on your play style and what you're kind of looking for. I have 3 different paddles with me here today that I'm going to be going through, so I suppose there's no better way than to get started. So my play style is very much based on power. I started playing pickleball 2 years ago, coming from a badminton background specifically. So with badminton, playing as a kid, it really develops the power swing in you, I think. I played tennis for a little bit back in 2021 and 2022 just for fun before really transitioning over to pickleball when they started building courts by me. But yeah, so tennis and badminton set up kind of a good baseline for how I play. A lot of the people I play with like to play more of a controlled way, but I'm a little bit more based on the power aspect of things. I started my pickleball journey with a $25 wooden Franklin paddle that I bought from Dick's Sporting Goods when I was just getting started to try out, a paddle and get a feel for it. It wasn't necessarily like I was looking for anything in particular. So basically, I just kind of bought that, got started with it, played with it for a little, and eventually it broke. Obviously, it was sort of a cheap paddle, so it didn't really have the purpose of, standing the test of time by any means. But that was my first sort of glimpse as to pickleball, basically, how I kind of got started. To show you next what I got when I decided it was time for a little bit of an upgrade, I got my first carbon fiber paddle, which was the Point Dume Escape 3.0. I have a red one as well. I didn't bring it with me today, but I got the purple ones also. It's a nice little paddle. It's a little bit top heavy for my play style, so it's a good little paddle. It has a carbon fiber surface. It's not too thick, as you can see here. It has edge guards. I wasn't, too big on the edge guardless paddle design just yet. So I bought this one. It was $50 for a pack of 2 of them, so pretty cheap. I got them off Amazon. It was a good way to, kind of develop a beginner paddle, what I was kind of looking for, but without getting too specific by any means. Again, not looking for power, not looking for control. I didn't know my play style just yet because all I was using was wooden paddles, granted, but I decided to go with something like this. And it was a good paddle. I actually used it for over a year. Most recently this year, I used this in my intramural pickleball all the way through the playoffs. I, got some good use out of this, here on the courts as well. So I got a lot of good use out of the Point Dume Escape 3.0. It's a good little paddle, but I'll break down the differences in a bit. So after the Point Dume paddle, I wanted to talk about the Professor. This is specifically the Professor Prime. This is actually my brother's paddle. It's not my own, so I have to kind of give a disclaimer there, but it is a really, really strong paddle. As you can see, it is a bit smaller in its face shape, but it's a lot chunkier. It's very, very thick, and it packs a pretty big punch. In terms of your actual decision in buying a paddle, it depends on sort of what you're looking for. So if you're looking for power or control, I would say those are the 2 biggest factors in, your purchase decision. And there's a bunch of online quizzes you could take to really kind of figure out your play style and what you like to do. But since I'm a power player, this is not necessarily for me. It's very controlled. It's a lot more for getting good drops, good dinks, hitting the ball, keeping it within the lines, I should say. but it does pack a pretty big punch. And I've actually been playing with it a little bit recently and realizing how much punch it has when you hit it. It's tough for me to play with, and it has a big learning curve because it's so thick. I don't like thick paddles that much. Some of the ones I'm going to be trying are a little bit thicker, so I guess we'll see how that kind of works with my playstyle. But this is not my preferred paddle by any means. It's a medium priced paddle. So, like I said, the Point Dume Escape 3.0, that purple one I just showed, was $50. This one is $100. So it's a good value for what you're getting. If you're looking to take kind of that next step from the beginner to intermediate level, I would definitely say to buy one of these. Professor is a great brand, and they do some really great. They make some other really great paddles. So if you are looking to take that next leap into buying a paddle that gives you some really good control, good spin, while also giving you some pretty good pop on your swing. But keep in mind, it's a heavier paddle. I think this is a good paddle to go with. I like it a lot, but it isn't necessarily for me. So just to delineate the three paddles I've gone through here based on price, like I said, the purple Point Dume Escape 3.0 is $50. The Professor Prime paddle, which is the black one that I showed you, is $100, and then this one will run you $250, as will most high-end Selkirk paddles or other high-end brands as well. Something that's fully carbon fiber, very sleek. No face or no edge guard, arrow throw. Nice little grip is probably going to run you about $250 or higher. So it is a very expensive paddle. A lot of people have asked me in my time playing pickleball if a expensive paddle such as something like this is worth it, and if it actually does change your play, or if you're just kind of saying it does to make sure you're getting the most of your money. I would say it definitely does change your game. You're getting a lot of value for what you're paying for. I would say I've definitely made my money back on this paddle in terms of the value I spent for it and the value I get for it. So it is a really strong paddle. It's changed my game and how I play. It made my serves completely different. I'm able to get so much power off my serves now compared to the Escape 3.0 and the Professor Prime. But I think the most noticeable and important difference is that I'm able to control the ball extremely well with a high-end paddle like this. And I think a lot of high-end paddles will help you control it as much as possible. I notice on my serves, I'm not whacking it all the way out of bounds behind the back line. I'm keeping it nice and in the lines. It's staying within the blue line, so it's not, flying into the kitchen, flying out of bounds, anything like that. I'm able to really keep it nice and tight in the court, without really, slamming the ball out by any means. With the Escape 3.0, I had a little bit of trouble controlling the ball. This paddle has a very gritty surface, so that's going to help you a lot when it comes to controlling the ball, getting top spin, getting any kind of spin realistically, compared to a paddle that you might buy on Amazon or at Dick's Sporting Goods that will likely give you enough spin, that you're able to spin the ball with a lot of effort, but it's not going to give you enough spin to really get a crazy drive with topspin. It's not going to let you really control the ball and keep it and place it where you want it to go on the court. So I would say if you're paying $250 for a paddle, get something like this. Really invest your money into something that can help you keep the ball exactly where you want it to go. It's going to be a huge payout for your game. And then that brings me to my current paddle, my favorite paddle I've ever used, and one I purchased as sort of a college graduation gift to myself. This is the Selkirk Power Air Epic Face Shape. It's a beautiful paddle. I'm sure you've seen something like this in this design with the nice Selkirk logo right here somewhere online. A lot of pros use these back, maybe a year or two ago. So they're kind of on their way out. This model specifically, but Selkirk is making some newer paddles that are a lot better, a lot more developed. Some that are more based on control, some based on power. As you can see, this one is really thin. It has an edgeless face guard design, so It doesn't have an edge guard by any means. It is really sleek. Has the arrow throat, as you can see as well. I'm going to be trying out some paddles with this sort of arrow throat, but that's just to help with swing speed. You know, you're able to get, since it is a power paddle, you're able to get some really high-powered swings, really fast coming off your hip. Or if it's on your backhand as well, you get a lot of control like that as well. So I like this paddle a lot. Clearly, it is very different from the two I showed you before. It is easily the most lightweight. This is actually called the midweight Power Air paddle, but it is very lightweight. It's the lightest paddle I've ever held in my life. Like I said, it's very thin, so you could, really get a lot of swing speed on it very easily. The arrow throat really helps, but it is a really nice paddle overall. And as you can see here, it is listed as the Epic face shape. Selkirk has 3 different face shapes that they offer for their paddles. The smallest one is the S2 style, and that face shape is a lot wider in width, but also a little bit more stout, a little bit shorter. So it's about up to here, but about this much wider. So it's a lot more based on control. If you're someone who likes to play up at the front of the line by the kitchen and dink and get some good drops and kind of play a little bit more tactfully, the S2 shape is probably for you. The Epic is the middle one, so it's kind of all around. It has a bit of a higher face shape, but it's also a little bit skinnier than the S2. The Invicta face shape is the one that is the tallest, but also the thinnest. So that's going to give you some really great swing speed and give you a lot more pop if you're looking to be a power player more specifically. But I like the Epic because it's right in the middle. Gives you a good mix of power and control, kind of be an all-court player as opposed to a, just a power player or just a control player. I think if you are buying a Selkirk paddle, you should definitely buy the Epic face shape because it is the best all around and can make you the most well-rounded player. So here I'm going to show you the difference in my serve between the 3 of these paddles. I'll start with the least expensive and go up to the most expensive. So we'll start here with the Point Dume paddle. So you could kind of see how the serve works there. So you get a little bit of spin. You don't get as much power as I remember, honestly, but this is that paddle, so you're kind of getting what you pay for. The next one is the Professor Prime, as you can see here, and I'll show you kind of what my serve looks like with that. So, as you can see, a lot more power off the serve with this one compared to the cheaper Amazon paddle. And then finally, brings us to the Selkirk Power Air with the Epic shape. I'll show you kind of what my serve looks like there. Obviously, the clear winner. You get so much swing speed with this thing. Obviously, I'm hitting the same serve every time with these different paddles, but the pop that you get with this paddle is by far, the best out of the 3.